Welcome back to Blooming Beauty with Katie Messer. I'm Katie Messer. We're here with our good friend Mr. Herbie.
Hi.
And we're talking about this special holiday. So if you would tell us what this is and how we pronounce it correctly.
Okay, this is Shavuot. You probably don't know it by that name. You might know it by the name Pentecost. And what it is right after Passover. It's the counting of the Omer. So you count 49 days and then you come to the 50th day, and that is Pentecost or Shavuot. And it's really very important within the Jewish calendar. Usually during this time they read Ruth, and you say, why would they read Ruth? Well, there's two different ideas on why. We know that traditionally it began somewhere early, but probably in the Middle Ages. Maybe a little bit before that they would always read Ruth. Part of it is because traditionally David died around this time. And so Ruth, and the end of Ruth, has the lineage of the King David. So that's one reason that's given. But probably more exact is because the book of Ruth occurs right in the time of the grain harvest. And we know that Passover is the beginning of the harvest and Shavuot is the end of the harvest. And that's about the time that the book of Ruth takes place. Wow. And so that's why they read this during this time period. Wow. Now, for believers, it's really an important book because it shows this woman who had lost her husband, that could have stayed in her country, but came out of her country, just like Abraham had. And he came out of the country and was seeking for a people and for a God that would be her God. And her vow to Naomi, you know, your people shall be my people and your God shall be my God. Where you go, I will go. That's right there in the book of Ruth. But probably even the more important concept is the concept of a redeemer. Because when she met Boaz, he could redeem the family and raise up a family that had been, the husband had died, there was nobody to take his place, no name, that family would have been left nameless and without a heritage. And so many times we find ourselves in places like that. I mean, Boaz then was raised up to be the Goel, or the kinsman redeemer. And you see the whole idea of this redemption, and especially for those that have no hope. And today, as we look, that we were lost in sin. We were under the power of sin. We had taken our lives and gone in ways that were far, far away from God, and we had no hope. And yet God sends a Redeemer, a Goel, and his name is Yeshua, or Jesus. And in the book of Ruth, you see then that the whole lineage of Ruth, who was a foreigner, comes into the lineage of the greatest king, David, who God gives a covenant, the Davidic covenant, that through this King David must come the Messiah. The Messiah is our Redeemer.
Hallelujah.
That brings us back to life. So that's just a few words on Shavuot.
I love it. Well, thank you for your time. And if you find yourself today wondering, what can I do with my life? And why am I here? And why do I matter? Ruth was in a country that wasn't even, you know, that wasn't a people of God, right? It was the land of Moab.
Because it was in Moab, that's
right. They were Moab. But God made a way for even her. And if you're feeling today, can God make a way for me in my situation with my story? Guess what? He can. He did it for me. He can do it for you. Thank you for watching today. I hope you have a great day. Thanks, Mr. Herbie.